Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the biggest trade video of the 2023 season so far. Pablo Lopez has finally been traded and he's headed to Minnesota with two other prospects for the AL Batting Champion Luis Arraez. This is a huge trade. I'm shook. My mind is blown. I'm a Twins fan. I'm a Marlins fan. So in this video, we're going to break down the trade, everything that happened. I'm going to give you my opinion, and then I'm going to turn it over to you because I want to know what you guys think about this enormous trade that impacts both teams, I think, in a very positive way. I'm going to turn it over to you. You can let me know down in the comments. We can talk. You guys can talk. That's why I do these videos. If you didn't see the breaking story earlier with Brandon, go check that out on the channel. He broke the story right as it happened. And then the last thing before we get right into this, if you are new to the channel, if you like what I do here, if you like talking baseball, hit that subscribe button. We do this every day, and we're almost to 4,000 subscribers, so I'd love if you stuck around. So let's get into the trade. Pablo Lopez, Luis Arraez, two huge names, right? We know Pablo Lopez had a great season last year. He's had a couple of good years, and he didn't really fit on the Marlins anymore. The Marlins have like 9 pitchers. We've talked about all this on the channel. You can go find those videos, but just a quick summary. A 3-WAR player, a little bit above average in the ERA plus department. He plays for the Marlins, so his ERA, his win-loss record, they're not going to be great, but he gives you 180 to 200 innings, strikes out about a guy per inning, solid control. This is a good pitcher. And for the Twins, he will give them, again, maybe not an ace, but he will give them pretty good stability, I would say, in that top part of the lineup with Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan. You've got a couple of other guys in there as well. So Pablo Lopez, big name. The Twins, right? This is where I think we get a little bit, how did this happen? Luis Arraez, he was supposed to not be on the table. I know there were very few rumors going on earlier in like December, in fact, with the Marlins. So I guess it obviously came to fruition eventually. But 3 days ago, the Twins said they were not looking to trade Arraez. If you go back to an earlier video on my channel, they were talking about Kepler, maybe a couple of other prospects, maybe throw in Royce Lewis now that they signed Correa. But now, here's Luis Arraez. If you want to talk about his stats, this is crazy. Like, this guy had a 4.4 WAR, the best by far that he has had. He's at 10.4 for the season, or for his career, excuse me. He's only 26. Pablo Lopez, by the way, is only 27, so that's great, I think, for both teams. But Luis Arraez, he has an OPS plus of 130 in his career. It's 120, by the way. He is an above 300 hitter in his career. Last year as the batting champion was 316. Had 8 home runs, 49 RBI, stole a couple of bases. This guy did it all, right? Crazy. And he wasn't supposed to be on the table. I didn't want him traded. Like, when I heard the news today, I was brokenhearted. I almost cried because this guy is the future of the Twins. Not anymore, but he would have been if they would have kept him. And realistically, it does make sense. Like, you have Kirilloff. You've got a couple of other guys who can play first base. I don't know if Luis Arraez really fit there. The only reason he was playing every day was because he could hit. They didn't really fit him at second base, right? You've got Polanco. You've put Arraez there sometimes. You got Royce Lewis now. Maybe you shift him over to second base. It's kind of very clear they will keep him maybe and move him there. So, again, you had a spot for Arraez because of the player he was, but they had to shift him around to play him. He did not have his spot. And since he is the batting title champion, it makes sense that he has a ton of value right now, right? And what they did was they went out and got Pablo Lopez, a guy, again, who has a little bit of control, who is 27. He's in the prime of his career. He is a good pitcher who's going to lock up that number 2 spot in the lineup. Like, he is solid. But then they also got Jose Salas, who is a top 5 prospect in the Marlins system. He was playing in Beloit last year, where I was, so that's really cool. He's 19. The dude, I've heard mixed signals that he is the best hitter in the Marlins system. I've also heard that he's got a weak bat, so maybe this is more of like a Luis Arraez kind of player. They want to develop him into a guy who, yeah, he has some pop. Last year, hit 9 home runs, 41 RBI. He batted .250. He had 103 hits in 412 at-bats. hence the about 250. Like, he can get you some hits. He can hit for a little pop. Okay, great. He had 33 stolen bases. He is fast, right? So maybe he's kind of that Luis Arraez player that the Twins were looking to replace Luis Arraez with. They also got a 17-year-old named Byron Chourio. I'm probably mispronouncing that name, so please forgive me, but he's 17 years old. He bats both 6'2", 170. Like, that is a pretty good, he's an outfielder, so pretty good built guy. I hope that pans out. Like I said, he's literally 17 years old. The Twins are getting some really young talent for Luis Arraez, and the Rays do this really well. They pull a guy, a pitcher, primarily I think pitchers, but they pull guys who have the best season of their career. Obviously, Luis Arraez had his best season of his career. They trade him in the offseason because they know he is at the height of his value. Luis Arraez, yes, he has been always a good hitter, and I would not have wanted to trade him, but he's at the height. He's got the most potential right now that he probably ever will. They traded him, right? And I think there will be some more moves made by the Twins to flush out where they put their lineups now, because who's going to bat like Luis Arraez, right? Polanco, like they want it. Kepler was the original person in this deal. Like, obviously, he is not even close to Arraez. You have some spots to fill, right? But so that's the breakdown of the trade. And by the way, this is the first time since 1978 that a reigning batting champion has been traded. Of course, it's the Twins that do that. But like I said, they're getting Pablo Lopez. We've talked about him so many times. He is a guy the Twins needed to fill out their rotation. And they got a guy. They got their guy. That's the point. They got their guy that they wanted. If nothing else, they took him away from so many other teams, right? Then they went out and got a top 5 prospect who became the 13th overall prospect in the Twins system. And they got a 17-year-old. The real interesting part of this is going to be, yes, they will keep Pablo Lopez. I'm sure they will try to compete for the division now that they have Correa. They have their pitchers back from last year that were injured. They've got Pablo Lopez. They have a pretty good rotation. They have a good lineup. Everything is moving in the right direction for the Twins. The interesting part of it will be, will they trade some guy like Salas or like Byron? Yeah, they are guys who have that potential as well, right? The Twins are known. Last year, they did it with Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. They flip guys pretty quickly. I wonder how long they will keep these guys and who they will go get for them. Otherwise, it was, like you said, you pretty much look at it as a Luis Arraez, Pablo Lopez 1-for-1. Pretty crazy. Jazz is now playing center field, whatever that means. Okay, so my opinion. Did the Twins make the right move? Yes, I think so. And as much as that hurts me to say, because I'm a Luis Arraez fan, he's my favorite player outside of Jazz Chisholm in the MLB. Like, the reason I think they made the right move is pitching has always been the problem for the Twins, right? And realistically, I don't think they gave up that much. They gave up Luis Arraez. That is it, okay? Like, they gave up the AL batting champion, but one, are the odds of him repeating that high? Maybe, yeah, he's probably going to bat a little bit over 300. Is he the reigning MVP? Or is he the next batting champion, the AL batting MVP person, whatever? Is he that guy 2 years in a row? Probably not. So his value just goes down a little bit, right? And he's another year older. Right now, he's got like 4 years control for Miami. So they only got rid of their, all-star MVP caliber player. Yes, but they also got one of their biggest needs in Pablo Lopez. Plus, they went out and got a guy who potentially could replace him and a young guy in the outfield. They got so much value from Luis Arraez, which is what Luis Arraez costed, right? They needed to get value from him, but they did. And that is the point, is they have control over Lopez. They have very young talent that they can develop. They have options to trade them. The only thing they gave up was Luis Arraez. And if they can find one of Luis Arraez, why couldn't they go find another in international signing? You know what I'm saying? There are potentials there for more. And as much as I would love to say Luis Arraez, is a Hall of Famer for the Twins, I would love to say he's an MLB Hall of Famer. It doesn't look like he will be with the Twins. anymore, obviously, but he is so young, and that's just the only thing. Like, I wish we could have kept him, but this is the right move for the Twins. And on the other side of it, for Miami, they're getting so much control out of him. They have Jazz, they have Arraez, they have some other older talent like Cueto, like Gene Segura. Like, I wouldn't say the Marlins are moving in the right direction, but they have very young pitchers that are going to come up in the next year or two and develop them. They've got some young guys right now. They've got some guys in their prime, Jazz and Arraez. Like, that is the core of a good team. And they will only build off this. This is not a Marlins team anymore that is shipping everybody out and restarting like they did in 2017. This is, we're going to move some pieces here, we're going to move some pieces there, we're going to go get our guy, we're going to use him, and we're going to win. You know, maybe not this year. They've got a tough division, but they are in the right steps. They are moving in the right direction. The Twins are moving in the right direction. I think both sides will be happy. The only reason I'm not is because I'm more of a Twins fan than I am a Marlins fan, and I didn't want to give Arraez up. So that is my spiel. Like I said, big trade. I think good for both sides. But if you're a Twins fan, if you're a Marlins fan, what do you think? Because this has dramatic implications on the future, I think, of the Marlins especially, and maybe in the short-term success of the Twins if they can make a run to the playoffs. Hopefully they win their division this year. I would believe they would if they have this good of talent. Like, I don't think the Guardians are very young, but I don't think the Guardians will do as well as they did last year. It's a lot of moving parts. So I would love to know what you guys think about this down in the comments. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you do enjoy this video. Lots going on, but thank you, Luis Arraez. That was awesome to watch you play. Good luck in Miami. We'll see you next time.